Welcome back, guys. We have gone international. I've got a great guest today, Miss Bec Sandys from New Zealand. Kia ora.
Kia ora.
How you going?
I'm good. I'm good.
How's the ISO going?
Yeah, ISO's all right. It's all right. I'm learning. I don't have much of a patience or tolerance level for the neighbours screaming kids. Like on a day-to-day level, it's more like, will I jump the fence and do something drastic? Like at least. I've never heard them before until this, and there's been so much DIY happening. And like the first day of lockdown here in New Zealand, it was like our whole neighbourhood, like you couldn't hear traffic anymore, but it was buzz saws and hammers and
Yeah.
ambulances, like it was. Everyone was just like, right, DIY, we're gonna get back into it. I'm gonna build your jet. Yeah,
Okay, so you're in Christchurch.
I am. Yep.
Uh, I haven't been to Christchurch. It's a pretty place, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, we've had some hard knocks for the last decade or so, like, but it's slowly getting
Earthquake.
back on its feet. The earthquake, and then we had fucking awful
Yeah,
scenario
yeah.
last March 15th. But yeah, I think we're pretty resilient creatures in Christchurch, so it's just kind of like, yep, throw it at us, and we'll just get by and pull together, although separately, but together this time. Yeah.
You're a 43-year-old comic. You quite often open for one of my favourite comedians, Ursula Carson.
Oh, I love Ursula. She's amazing. Amazing.
I think she is too. You're supposed to have two shows this year.
Yeah.
Role Model in Y2K.
Yep.
Supposed to do the Melbourne Comedy Festival like everybody else.
I'll be there right now. Like every day I'm getting reminders on my phone like 9 o'clock, your show, like get
Yeah.
ready to go to the show.
Lately, you've been doing these back time stories.
Yeah. Out of sheer bored, no, it was more of a I'm gonna tidy my room and just, like this is gonna be my place for the next month or so.
Yeah.
And I came across a box of all my old school books and photo albums, and in it were my storybooks from when I first went to school, so at 5 and 6 years old. They were so old school, like the first, I think, 10 stories, I've dictated my story to the teacher. She's written it, and then I've copied her handwriting underneath. But we had to illustrate our pictures, and I'm looking at them and I'm going, the pictures are no way a reflection of the story. So I just thought, because I really miss my nan and my mum and my family. So I just kind of started doing them I'll just put up one and I'll put it on Instagram and mum will see it. And then more and more people were messaging going, we really like these, but can you post the picture and give us a day to guess it? So it's kind of become people's daily brain teasers over what's my 5-year-old mind thinking. And they're all having a sort of a really weird COVID isolation correlation. Like, it's super bizarre. Super bizarre.
Now, the question on everybody's lips, how's Milo?
Milo's great. I'll just grab the camera here. Oh, whoops. That's my backyard. How do I change that? Here he is.
There he
He's having
is.
a sleep next to my big dirty pile of washing.
Have you decided to keep him?
I really, so I'll cover up the camera there. I really want to keep him, but we have 3 other male cats, and Milo, he's a prisoner in my bedroom at the moment because as soon as he puts his head out the door, the other cats just chase him down. They're really territorial. Milo used to live next door for like 7 years, and then his neighbour just moved out and ditched him and left him. So I was feeding him. I had like a hanging basket, what you put your pot plant in with a hook. And I was filling that with cat biscuits and feeding it over the fence. And then I got cold, so I planned right before isolation I was going to catnap him, and I managed to like just grab him and locked him in my bedroom. But we've found him an owner. He's got a home.
Oh, great.
So, it was through my video. I was like, it's a rescue cat. If anyone wants a really cool cat, let me know. And within an hour, I had 3 or 4 people message going, "We'll take him."
Oh, awesome. How long have you been in comedy?
I have been performing stand-up. I started when I was 41, so it'll be 3 years. So about 2.5 years. But I spent a year producing, but I produced stand-up, like pro shows and open mics in Auckland.
Yeah.
Prior to that, I was an actor who would always be cast in that comedy. Like, I was always the comic relief in any play. I wouldn't call myself I can't do dramatic acting at all. I'll always find a way to ham it up or take the piss.
So
Or take the
you've done really
yeah.
well in just a couple of years. Do you remember your first joke on stage?
I remember my first joke on stage. I walked on stage and I was like, have you ever wondered, words are weird, have you ever wondered if the first word was word? And if we needed a word, why would that first word be word?
Yeah.
It was bad.
You
It
need to
was
get
real.
out more, yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking. I'd visualize me going out on stage and going, can I swear on this? How blue can I, how much swearing? I thought I was going to go out there and just be like, oh, that guy's a bit of a cunt. Like, it's my opening. But no, I chickened out and just went with that and did a really, really weird joke about word terrorists. And
What do you reckon is the weirdest or worst set you've done? Gig place you've played? Don't name the place because you may have to go back.
I'd say heaps. Like, probably the first 7 months of gigs were all my worst. I like on the open mic scene in Auckland, it's a really supportive scene, but when I come back down to Christchurch, I went from doing open mics up there of 10 to 15 people to 1 or 2 and then comics. And then I got used to performing. They became really hard rooms to do because comics are never going to laugh at your stuff.
Yeah, that's
So, and I was under the impression that I had to do a new joke or a new set every time that I went on stage. So I was bombing really badly. So it was really nice when I go back up to Auckland and I'd be like, oh, I've tried out these jokes. I'll put them together and do it in front of an audience. And when people laughed, I was like, oh, it threw me a bit. I didn't quite know what to do with that. Yeah.
Oh, good on you. Good on you for keeping at it. Well done.
Yeah, perseverance.
So the New Zealand audiences are pretty supportive. Do you get many hecklers?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You do?
Yeah, heaps. I had this really weird heckle once. I was doing a joke. I've written a joke about the flu, which is odd that we're in this situation right now. And this woman kept heckling out. She just kept yelling out, "You're bipolar! You're bipolar!" She just yelled it to the point. I can't remember what my comeback was. It was something like, "Oh," says the woman yelling out, "You're bipolar," throughout my set. I don't know. It was a pretty lame one. I have started an open mic scene in my hometown of Methven, which is a small ski town at the bottom of Mount Hutt, at the Blue Pub. I started off in a cafe and then it got really big, so we do about 100 seats. And it's weird doing comedy in front of a home audience where people have known you since you were this high and they know every trick in the book. They've been at they know the gossip on me, so they'll call you out if you don't. Like, they were very honest. I'll just say they're a very honest audience. My dad heckles me a lot.
What are dads for, eh?
Heckling.
Who would be your favourite comedian?
Ursula. Hands down.
Ursula
has been, I don't know what it is. The first time I saw Ursula was on a TV special. It was like, I think it was a Christmas comedy special. And there was just something about, I just liked her, just how frank and honest she was. And I just seemed to follow her, and I relate a lot to her comedy. We're the same age. So I read her book recently and I was like, wow, we've had quite similar backgrounds. I don't know. She just resonates to me. But yeah. Justine Smith, Michelle A. Court, Cal Wilson, there's a lot of female comedians in New Zealand that have, Rose Matafeo, who you just, Alice Snedden, Donna Brooke, there's so many, I love female comedians. Like Lucille Ball was one of my favorite growing up, and then Joan Rivers. I've always looked to the female comedy because it's a voice that I recognize, you know. So, but then in Aussie, it's like I love Nikki Britton. I saw her show at Melbourne Comedy Fest last year. Demi Lardner.
Oh yeah.
I just love them to pieces. I really wanted to see Jen Fricker's show this year, but Alice Fraser. I got to, because I worked at Melbourne Comedy Fest last year. I was a room supervisor at Portico Room because I wanted to get a vibe for what it was like, and I had Mel Buttle and Alice Fraser, and so I got to hear their shows every night for 3 weeks. And I got to hear Ursula, but she was down in the main hall and I was upstairs. It was great. But yeah, Ursula would be my number one.
I love Ursula. I wish I could get more females on here. But one of Ursula's jokes in particular cracks me up, even though I've heard it again and again and again, still cracks me up, is where she's talking about a Labrador not naming the Labrador Cookie.
Yeah.
It's great.
Let's get it!
What are your hopes for the future?
I hope that I hope that isolation doesn't make me want to stop doing comedy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got to that point of, because I'm a very anxious person, anxiety is a major thing I struggle with. When I did my first Comedy Fest show last year, I was crippled by anxiety, and it ruined the experience for me to the point I almost gave up comedy.
Yeah.
I was expecting, it's my first time in a Comedy Fest show, this is what I've always wanted, and then I got on stage and I just couldn't turn off that voice that was telling me that I was a fraud, that I was useless, that I wasn't funny, and it got louder and louder every night. And I've managed to work through that, but I've just noticed in this time, it's been 4 weeks, I've had no anxiety around performing, and it's become a nice natural calm. And then I've been thinking, do I want to put myself in that state of anxiety? But I've managed to turn it into, you know, when you're performing, the anxiety can somehow turn into adrenaline, and then once your show's done, you're like, oh, thank God. It's a weird addiction, and I'm hoping that my hope is that I can continue. I want to do my shows. I've got 2 shows that I want to do, but now I think
we want to see your shows.
Role models, I'm just busting to get that one out there. And Y2K, weirdly, because I'd written it about Y2K Bug 2000, I had a whole section in there. I was like, oh, can you imagine what would happen if Y2K was to happen today? And kind of broke it down,
Boom.
Not to the point of doom, but it's very similar. And now I'm at that point of like, I don't know if I want to perform Y2K because there's going to be so much comedy that comes out in the next 12. I don't want to hear any jokes about COVID or isolation or home baking. You know, like, I don't know. It's going to be a weird scene for the next 12 months.
Yeah. It'll be back. It'll come back.
It will. It will.
Confidence. People love to laugh.
Yeah, we do. That's true. That's true.
Okay, I just got to wrap it up. We were talking about people doing their home renovations. The bloke next door's just started up his power saw. Before I ask you the last question, I just got to remind people, please hit that subscribe button so that if I get enough subscribers and start getting paid, I can pass it on to my guest. Give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, stay safe, share your blessings. Bec Sandys, you're such a pleasure to talk to. What is your favourite joke of all time? Whether it's yours or somebody else's, what's that favourite joke you always pull out when somebody says, tell me a joke?
It's one that my brother, I've got a brother who, I guess he's 25 now. This is my go-to joke. How do you, it's not even my joke, it's a real shit one, but when people say, how do you get Pikachu on a bus? The Pokemon. I'm a storyteller, not a joke teller. So
I love that joke anyway. I love the dad jokes. And we were talking before how much you love word jokes. I love them too. My career's
yeah,
based on that stuff. Thank you. Such a pleasure. We're going to miss Milo.
so am I. Hold on. Come on, Milo, don't scratch me. Oh, we love them.
Oh,
So
bye,
bye, Milo.
Milo.
Bye.
Thank you, Beck.
See ya.
Can't wait to see you in the future.
Yeah, you too. Take care.